So I just made a video on how to be still and non-reactive to the 3D and why it's so important. But now I'm going to tell you how to actually do it because I understand you're in a habit of reacting to the 3D negatively. You're in the habit of reacting to the lack state that you see around you in the 3D and you're taking it as fact. So how do you break out of that cycle? How do you actually handle the 3D when it is pummeling you with circumstances that are just so undesired and not preferred by you? Okay. Perhaps you had a big fight or an argument with your specific person. Perhaps it's the last $50 in your bank account and you don't know how to stretch it for groceries this month. Okay. Whatever it is, the 3D circumstances, I want you to take notice of what you're feeling and what you're thinking. Become the observer. This is the tagline of my channel. This is the tagline of my account, The Manifesting Observer. Okay. Be the observer. Witness your thoughts. Witness your feelings. Go into the third party state, because when you are in the third party mode, you no longer identify. You no longer identify with those thoughts, with those feelings, with those emotions. And when you no longer identify with that, you are the witnesser, you're the observer of that, then you can choose how to respond to that. And then you can choose how you're going to shift your state of being into one where you are not going to feel that state of lack. You're not going to respond negatively to it. You can assign neutral meaning to that event. You can always find either positive or neutral meaning. You don't have to assign negative meaning. Everything is inherently neutral. Every event is inherently neutral until you assign it meaning. So assign positive and neutral meaning. I've talked about this in the past before. Okay. So it's really critically important that you understand this. And here's the other part of it. Okay. When you are no longer identifying with that thought, with that feeling, that's going to keep you in a calm, neutral state. And it might take some practice, but what it does is you no longer identify with the ego, the mind. And by doing so, you are essentially detaching from the old story. The first step of manifestation that I teach is detachment. Okay, I've gone through this before. Detachment. It's so important. It's so critical. And you let go, essentially, of the state of being that used to perpetuate the story of your current 3D life circumstances that you wish to change. You're letting go of that old story. You're letting go of that old belief. You're detaching from that by becoming the observer. You're observing the thoughts. You're observing the feelings. They're not mine, and you let them go. That's how you let them go. That's how you not let the 3D circumstances affect you. Even if you're feeling heightened, strong emotions, you allow the emotions, you allow those emotions, but you separate it by not assigning meaning to it. You separate it from the event that's happening. If you are angry or frustrated that your specific person isn't texting you back, you disengage, you unlink that event of the SP not texting you back or blocking you, whatever it might be in the 3D, from the feeling of frustration and anger and anxiety by becoming the observer, by noticing in your body how that feeling feels and just allowing the energy to dissipate and noticing the thoughts that you're thinking as a byproduct of that previous state of being and be like, that's not really my thought. That's not who I am. That's just simply an event that happened. Someone didn't pick up their phone and type a text and send it. That's all it is. Okay? So don't assign negative meaning to things. Apply positive, neutral meaning to it and become the observer, become the witnesser. And that is how you become still. That is how you become calm. And that's how you live in the state of flow. And when you do that, life becomes so much more easier to manage. And those manifestations that you've been pining over forever, or it seems like it's been forever, they're going to come in and flow in fast.